said.
Welcome to a special Q&A from Riversong. We got contacted by sailing project Artemis and Brian there, who sent a Q&A to us, which he is going to publish along with lots of other Q&A. So we will leave a description. We will leave a link down in the description. So, now we start with the Q&A. Who are we?
We are an average middle-aged couple from the west of Sweden.
You took that from the intro.
I did. We live in a small village.
About 1,500, 200 people in the...
2,000 people, something like that. And it's about 30 kilometers from Gothenburg, which is Sweden's second largest city.
And what is it? 1 kilometer to the water from here?
Yeah, and it's not the sea.
No? It's like
it's
channel.
A river.
Big one.
Yeah, it's a river. We live here in a house, in a villa, with our cat and a part-time son.
Yeah, he's from time to time.
Yeah. We also have a caravan, which is a newly acquired.
We don't have a channel about that.
No, we don't. We don't need to. But we also have a small boat, a small sailing boat. So, in sailing.
Yeah.
By the way, Annika and
Captain
Anders.
Yeah. How did we become interested in sailing? Well, I have to confess, I guess I was the one who got us into this. I was actually manufactured on a sailboat.
Made.
Perhaps, yeah. Trying to be funny. My father's been sailing all my life, competing, doing lots of crazy stuff. And when I grew up, I started on tall ships. I was about 14, 15, I guess. And in another one of our episodes, you can see that ship. We returned to it. And I did that for about 10 years as a crew member there. And I missed the boat life. So we got us a 21-footer day cruiser, which didn't turn out good. Had a lot of problem with it, so I sold it as it was, and the same day I bought a Maxi 77. So it's a very small boat. It's 7 meters and 70 centimeters, and that was 18
2019
in the autumn there.
Yeah.
So it's still quite new for us, but we are learning the ropes. And our channel is about our day cruises, weekend cruises, and the vacation cruise. We move about the west coast of Sweden, around Tjörn, Orust.
The biggest Swedish islands.
No, the third. The other one is on the other side.
I didn't say the biggest. I said the bigger.
Yeah. The third biggest. Well, when did you start? That was in 19. What made you want to start cruising?
We're not
really cruising. We're not liveaboards. We just have fun. We don't go out with the boat when it's bad weather, so we are, as they say in Sweden, Sunday sailors.
I think that's my fault. The interest of sailing is mainly the captain's. But since he loves to be with me, I tend to follow along. I do my best to try to have fun, and most of the time I have lots of fun. But I'm not too fond of too much wind, which is kind of strange when you have the same boat. But and also I don't particularly like to be too far from harbor. I'm more of the day sails, come home in the evening. That's my kind of thing.
You like being on the boat too?
I like being on the boat. I like being on the boat. Yeah. I can be in harbor. I don't care. I like being on the boat. It relaxes me. So that's why. But it's without the captain, I'd never sail. That's how it is.
Yeah. Your YouTube channel, tell us about it. What's next for it? We are doing a small winter fix season. We did a lot last fix season, so it's not that much to do now. So not much filming.
We have a couple of big projects. We have removed the kitchen.
Yeah.
Well, since the boat is only 25 feet, it's not, the kitchen isn't big. It's one unit. We could actually remove it in one piece, and now you have worked with it.
We need to change the through hole, and it's too cold to put it there, so I can't put it there yet. And since I can't put it there, I can't put back the kitchen.
That's right. You've also been working on the solar panel cables.
Yeah, it's just to
make it prettier.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've also invested in a new plotter.
Yeah.
So there are a few
bigger,
things.
Better.
Yeah.
Need glasses. Need bigger screen. So what kind of boat do you have? Yeah, it's as we said, Maxi 77, designed by Pelle Pettersson, the one who also made the Volvo P1800, and there's a full line of Maxi boats. So they even made motorboats.
And Maxi 77s were made from 1973 to 1982, I think.
Yeah, something about it. It's they made about 3,900 of them, so it's a lot of them.
And ours is 3525.
Yes.
So it's kind of a later model.
We have an inboard engine.
We do. It's a Volvo Penta.
MD5B.
Yeah. And the thing that it changed in 1975 because they raised the ceiling somewhat in the boat. So now I can stand upright
in
when
the
I'm
kitchen.
Cooking.
I can't.
But you can't. So
that's why she's cooking.
I'm 5'9.5", so.
And I'm
like
187.
6'1".
What's our most memorable moment aboard the boat? I think we have different there, maybe.
Well, memorable is you tend to remember the precious moments when it's warm, just enough, normal wind. You turn off the engine. You hear
that's a moment when you turn off the engine.
Yeah,
but it's reoccurring.
And also when you find either a good harbor, a natural harbor, and you settle down for the...
But what's the most memorable?
The most memorable. Would that be Islandsberg, perhaps?
Okay.
Islandsberg is a lighthouse on the outside of the west coast of Sweden. Well, it's on the mainland. But outside, if you sort of move from Islandsberg and then you go west, then you come to England.
So it's open sea all the way.
And the North Sea is the North Sea. It is very... there's lots of storms. And when it's stormy, there's lots of waves coming into this passage from the North Sea.
And the cliffs are going straight down 30 meters So when the waves come crashing in from England, they go against this wall and then they turn back and go out again. So the waves meet and it's a whirlwind of waves, and especially when it's been blowing. It's old sea, as we call it here in Sweden.
And this was in end of or beginning of August, July, August, something like that.
Yeah.
2020, and we had
our vacation.
We had, and we were going to be one night in the town of Lysekil, which is in the north, on the south-north part of Bohuslän's coast.
South-north?
The south-north, well, the southern parts of the northern part. Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, it's a wonderful seaside town, and we were just going to be there for one night, but the storm grew. It was very windy.
Yeah, it was about 25 meters per second, which is about 50 knots.
Yeah, constant 50 knots. So it was gusting up to, I don't know, 60, 70. So we decided to be one more night. And then we couldn't stay there anymore because the berth was booked. Yeah. So we had to move the boat to another berth, or we should leave. And I
decided it's just best to leave. We need to get on.
Well, you actually asked me, and I said okay. Yeah. So we didn't sail because it was still quite windy, about 22 knots, something like that.
Yeah, I think somewhere there.
Yeah. But when we came, and it was okay until we came to Islandsberg, because the waves were very high, and it's
about 3 meters.
Yeah. Something like that. I was kind of scary.
And we kind of got the waves in from the side. So we didn't go from side to side. We went up 3 meters and down 3 meters and up 3 meters and down 3 meters.
So it was very scary until we could move away from that part. But the thing that was also very good with that experience was that I was not so afraid anymore.
Nothing could be worse.
I also realized that I could trust the boat and I could trust the captain. Not that I didn't trust him before, but you know, when you see someone, how they react in crisis, and you know that they are stable and, you know, do the right things, then it feels good.
And I could say I've been passing there many times.
But not by yourself, right?
Not by myself, but by boat. So I knew how to deal with it and how it's working and how you need to steer and everything there.
But that's my memorable moment. What's your?
My most memorable moments was our first video there. When it's actually our boat, and just sitting there having the coffee, and
you can watch episode 1.
It's not a long one.
No, and it's in Swedish, but you can just see the look on the captain's face. He looks very happy.
What is your favorite part of the sailing life? I would say my favorite part of it is the calmness of sailing. You have a busy week, and since the boat is not moving faster than about 5 knots with the engine, and if you sail, well, it's not much wind down here, so it's usually maximum 5 knots there too. It's easy to relax. You have to relax. You can't do anything else.
And I work from home, not just during the pandemic, but from home all the time. And so I'm always home. I'm home when I'm working, and I'm home when I'm not working. So during the pandemic, it's been wonderful to just on a Friday afternoon go out to the boat and just be there. Yeah. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just be in the boat, and it relaxes me.
Yeah. Go away from ordinary weekday.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite part of the lifestyle?
Can be very expensive.
Yeah, it can be.
Even though we have a boat that is in quite good condition and it's not very expensive to maintain
No.
because it doesn't have lots of electronics and
as fast as it has something to do with marine, everything triples in price.
then I can also sometimes be quite irritated with other sailors. But that has to do with it doesn't matter what kind of lifestyle you're used to, you are being a part of. There's always some people who think that they have the right to tell everyone else how to do certain things and how to be, that you have to sail all the time because otherwise you are not a sailor and you're not worthy of having a boat.
Yeah.
And that makes me kind of irritated.
It's like we have a very small boat, and when we come into big marinas and see this 40, 50, 37 feet, and they look at you, what a puny boat, what a tiny boat. Well, at least I paid mine cash. The next one.
What was it like going from a motorcycle to a boat?
Who say we left the motorbikes?
We still have them.
Yeah, it's down in our garage, and it's the same thing there. They're not expensive, but it's a motorbike.
There are bikes. We own them.
Yeah.
We don't have any loans
No.
to fund them. We bought them, so
It doesn't cost us
they
much.
don't cost us much. It's like an insurance thing, and we have them in our garage. So.
But I guess it's more of a thing going from a motorcycle to a boat for you.
Yeah, since I'd never been on a boat. I was I forgot the word once again. I remember I talked about it in a video that you call it land crab in Swedish, but you don't call that in English. Someone who has never been on the sea, never sailed, never been on a motorboat, and I grew up next to the Baltic, so being on the beach,
almost the same city as one of the most Swedish famous military marinas.
Yeah.
The Navy.
So I was used to the sea. Well, Anders doesn't call it the sea. It's like a little lake, a little pond. But the Baltic, anyway. But I was never on any boat. It's never been an interest of mine. And
was it your grandfather who built boats?
He did.
Yeah.
But those were rowing boats.
Yeah, but still a boat.
But I never was in one. We didn't have one when I grew up. We had a caravan, and caravan life is my thing. So,
that's why we have one too.
Yeah, I mean, what do we talk about? When you work on a marriage, you have to compromise. Yeah. So I compromise being on the boat and sailing with hubby. And
we compromise, not just you,
and
right?
I was telling, and you compromise being with me in a caravan.
We can compromise about that.
We can.
Do you still have your bike? Yes, we do.
We both have one. So, yeah.
What's it like to have dogs on board? Well, we don't have a dog. We have a big cat, and he's never left home. He doesn't like going in a car, so we've never tried even. But we met people who has their cat on board, and it's working fine.
And we've also seen lots of dogs, and there's no problem.
No. You going to rock a speedo this season? No. I'm just doing it in my birthday suit. Tell us about your shenanigans at sea. Did we have any really?
No. We don't go very far on the boat, so it's like only time we don't. It's like when we badmouth the motorboats, the
going too fast.
Boats, the ones that get up lots of waves.
Yeah, and they don't think about sailboats.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer being at anchor or moving around? I guess these questions are more made for liveaboards, cruisers. Well, we've been to a few harbors. We've been to a few natural harbors where you lie next to the shore. But we haven't done it that much that we could actually say what we prefer. We have, we like both. Spicy food? Yes! What are some of the must-have you have on your boat that you couldn't go without? Cup noodles.
Yeah. The motor, the engine. That would be hard.
That would be hard to be without.
Yeah. Oh, sails, mast, things like that. But cup noodles is a good one, yeah.
I think that's more like it. I mean, without sails, there wouldn't be a sailboat, for example.
Right. That's right.
What's next for you and your adventures? We are fixing the boat up, and we actually have a 10 minutes walk from home nowadays. We changed the winter story.
So we have the boat on the hard.
Yeah.
In our little village.
On the wharf down here. It's actually been a wharf here in Lödöse since the 1300.
At least.
So the next adventure would likely be to take it from here Lödöse to Almesund, where we have it during the summer.
Yeah.
And that's about, what was it, 40, 50 nautical miles?
We usually do it during a weekend.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that the river that we are taking down to go out into out to the coast, it has lots of current. Because there are a few water power plants upstream.
And locks.
And locks. And we are going downstream. So upstream
takes longer.
Takes longer. So I think we have to have a night stay.
We usually have one in Kungälv, and there's also videos about that.
Yeah.
Favorite meal to cook while out at sea? I think, yeah, it's tricky, but favorite meal to cook while out at sea. When we're out at sea, we have a standard lunch, which is easy to cook, and it's good. It's
cup noodles, and then we warm something called bullens, which is like a Vienna sausage, something like that.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah, small sausages that are in a can. Good
with
storage.
Bouillon.
So you just you cook them in their own stock, and then you eat. They're very tasty, very salty, which is good. You see?
Fatty.
That's about it. But I'm trying to learn how to be better cook because we only have a two flame stove. Two flame stove, yeah. And then we have bought an Omnia, which is a Swedish invention, which makes it into this makes an oven in a way, which you put on one of the flames. I can show you a picture here. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Where would we be in 10 years? Where would we like to see ourselves?
I don't think I want to change anything. I want it to be the same.
Yeah, I think we're still going to have the same boat. Since it's a small one, it's easy to take care of and it's enough for us.
And it's also, if you have a bigger boat, you have more costs and then you want to be out with it more.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, I think I'd stop finding it interesting. So I think this boat is perfect for us. Yeah. It has everything you need. And you don't have a bathroom with a septic tank that you have to clean and everything. You just have a little portable loo.
Yeah, and I'm impressed by it actually.
Oh, you know.
The only place to store it is a compartment under the V-berth where we are sleeping. And it doesn't smell at all.
Nope. Even
Nothing.
when it was overflowing at one time.
Yeah, and whose fault was that?
I was mine. But it still didn't smell. That's good.
Yeah. What was your favorite part so far and why?
Ängeviken. That was nice.
Yeah, Ängeviken is a very nice port.
Harbor. Guest harbor.
Guest harbor. Not big at all.
No, we like the small ones. If they have
mooring. If you just could.
If you can get shore power, that's good.
Yeah,
but we don't need it anymore.
No, it's not a must.
We have solar panels. And last year we went up this river and we didn't have shore power anywhere. And we managed because we have the motor and we have our solar panels. And we could use it as the way we wanted to.
Did we answer the question now? What was your favorite port so far? Yeah, Ängeviken.
But about the taxing to the relationship, we didn't answer that.
No, I think it's coming.
No, it was about there.
Yeah, we missed that one. Is it hard being together all the time, and do you find it taxing on your relationship? Well,
we're not liveaboards.
No, we're not liveaboards, but we find it very hard to be apart.
Yeah.
So I would say we find it very hard not being together all the time, and we find it taxing on our relationship when we're not together.
So when I got my current job, which is actually in Stockholm,
about 400 kilometers.
Yeah, it takes about 3.5 hours by train. Then you said that the only reason or the only way I could get the job was that I would be able to work from home, because you couldn't manage me being away all
nothing
the time.
wouldn't work. So
Sweet or sour,
why choose?
or combination.
Yeah. Do you read? If so, what's your favorite books? I started with audiobooks for about a year ago, listening to while I'm working. And I listen mostly to historical fact books and crime novels.
And I am a teacher of Swedish and English. So I've been reading quite a lot of books, and I'm a periodical reader. So sometimes I read a lot, sometimes I don't read at all. But I'm the one that started with the audiobooks, and then I made him start listening. Because I like audiobooks. I used to take the train to work, and it was a good way to get some, pass the time with having an audiobook.
Next, what is the craziest thing you have done while sailing to date? Well, what's yours?
I'd still say Islandsberg.
Still think it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy that I actually...
it's a crazy good thing.
It's crazy that I actually said yes.
Well, we had to get moving, so... the craziest thing I've done while sailing to date, I would say actually two things. One of them is when I went out trying first time to solo sail, and there's a video about that too. When I was going out, it was blowing about 20 knots. That's not a problem. And when I got out of the harbor, it started to grow, so went up to 15, which is 30 knots. And I started to think, well, maybe I shouldn't be out in this wind. I started to feel that, well, I still manage, but it's safer to return. And then outside the harbor, I measured the wind again, and then it was 50 knots. So it was the craziest thing I've done by myself on that boat.
But you did go in.
I did go in, yeah, absolutely. And the craziest thing before that was when I was on this tall ship, I was going to put, what do you call it? Spira?
I don't know.
A carved decoration stick to put on the top of the mast. So it's about 50 centimeters tall, and you have to go up in the mast, which is about 25-28 meters above the waterline, sitting there in a boatsman chair, and you have nothing to hold on to but the stays that goes from the top. So you put your legs around them, and you sit there with a drilling, and in the top of the mast, so you can put down the scepter. And it's it's small waves, but even if it's down there just moving a little, I was going about 3-4 meters from side to side while doing this job. And I think that was a crazy thing to do. But
would you do it again?
Maybe.
Craziest things you've ever done, period.
Oh.
I have to tell you, if you remember the TV series Friends, there was an episode where the friends talked about where they had this craziest place they ever had sex. And Rachel listened to the others, that was on the beach or in a park or things like that. And she said, at the end of the bed. And that's me. I don't do any crazy things.
Yeah. We come from separate lives.
Yeah.
Craziest thing I ever just done. Well, when I was 17, I think, I had a moped, we call it in Swedish. It's a 50 cubic engine. And by law, they can't go faster than 30-35 kilometers here in Sweden. And I went from home to Karlstad. I was living on Orust and went to Karlstad, which is about 280 kilometers. Took me 11 hours.
In snowstorm.
No, that was a snowstorm.
Okay.
That was the other time when I went from home to Gothenburg, which is about 60 kilometers just.
Still.
Well,
Well,
that's crazy me.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
Well, I don't really like movies. I watch them because the captain do. But Das Sport was a good movie. I have to.
Das Sport is a good movie. Yeah.
Movie, but it's not like I have to watch it again.
No, it's about almost 4 hours.
Yeah. But what's your favorite movie?
I have to say I have 3 favorite movies. or 4. Das Boot. We have Leon is all-time favorite. You have Le Grand Bleu, The Great Blue, a diving movie. Pool or beach?
Beach.
Yeah, I don't like beach. I grew up not far from the sea, and we had to go to swimming school to learn how to swim. And no matter the weather, no matter how cold,
It was always cold.
yeah, and sharp seashells all over. So it was better to swim, but you had to walk out until it was as deep as it needed to be. I prefer pool, but I jump and swim from the boat.
You do.
In my birthday suit. So that's fine. Do we have any advice for new sailor?
Learn the ropes. Get to know your boat.
Yeah.
Take all the advice you can.
Yeah. And the advice thing, it doesn't matter how experienced you are. There's always need for advice.
Mm-hmm.
And take them. You don't have to follow them, but take them.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any advice for anyone looking to just get up and start sailing? Go out with an experienced sailor and do as much as you can and learn, watch, listen.
And make sure it's for you.
Yeah.
Because even though we have a smaller boat, it's still hard work.
Yeah.
And the captain can sail her by himself, sorry. But it's still hard work, even though we are 2. Especially when the wind is hard.
Yeah, here on the west coast, it's either 2 knots of wind or
50. No, I'm kidding. 30.
20, 30. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to buy a boat? Get a boat that you like and that you can manage.
Get a smaller boat to begin with.
Yeah, it's easier to start with a small boat.
25, 26 feet is a good one. And like the captain said, make it one that you can afford. So that you don't go broke, because there'll be lots of costs when you start it.
The cost of the boat is usually the smallest cost.
Because you have harbor fees, you have...
On the hard fees.
Yeah. Especially here in Sweden, that's how it is. Costs, you have berth in a harbor, and you have to pay for that. And then you also have somewhere to put it on hard, and you have to pay for that. So that's the thing.
If I were a drink, what would I be and why?
I would be a Long Island iced tea. Because there's quite a lot of alcohol in it, but you can't tell. I might look very innocent on the outside, but there is more to me than you know.
Yeah. And for the record, you don't drink alcohol at all.
No, I don't.
Well, I would be, sorry for the name, but Black Mistress. It's a drink I came up with when I was working in bars, and the main thing is taste of blackcurrant, and that is because I usually go my own way, do my own things. Next question, I'm not really understand, but Do you prefer the number 34 or 3?
34 is a good even number.
Yeah, but I would say 3.
You will fight for it?
It's odd.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we are...
And less is more.
Yeah, but we're a couple, and that's even.
Yeah, so we say 343 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we combine.
Of course. Why settle for one when you can have both?
Yeah, you can have all.
Indeed.
So, from River Song to all of you, we say bye!